Good evening and a very warm welcome to you, and thank you so much for joining us on the main news. My name is Faragwaze.
And I'm Natasha Bennett. Susan Masona at the Sign Language Desk. These are the stories that made the headlines. 279 National Assembly members elected on the 23rd of August elections sworn in at the new Parliament building in Mount Hampton.
And cannibal serial killer suspect Nkosi Ndlovu in the dock. Gruesome details on the killing of 6 people have emerged.
And in sport, ZIFA Normalization Committee to appoint Warriors coach within the next 2 weeks.
Now, in our leading story for the evening, 4 ZANU-PF provincial delegations have paid a courtesy call on President Emmerson Mnangagwa to congratulate him on his victory in the August 23 general elections. The senior ruling party officials also pledged to complement government efforts in pursuit of inclusive development in the next 5 years. Our chief correspondent Ruben Barwe has more.
The ZANU-PF Mashonaland East provincial leadership was the first to come and congratulate the President Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa for having led the ZANU-PF team to a triumphant win in the just concluded general election. Led by the provincial chairman, Comrade Daniel Garwe, Mashonaland East also boasts of having the Vice President, General Retired Dr. Constantino Guvea Chiwenga, Chairman of the Council of Elders, Dr. Sidney Sekramai, Chairwoman of the Women's League, Comrade Mabel Memory Chinomona. And here some of them speak after meeting the President.
We came to thank the President for the great work that he did in Mashonaland East Province, infrastructure development programs throughout the 9 admin districts.
We want to thank the President for coming and showing that he has confidence in the leadership from Mashonaland East, and we take a leaf from him.
This is where the revolutionary struggle was fought. A lot of women, a lot of school kids went to the revolutionary struggle to fight for the independence of this country.
It's really the performance that the various officers appointed.
Without looking at the region?
No.
It's on merit.
On merit.
Next to call on the President was the leadership of Harare province, led by Mr. Godwill's Masemirembwa, despite the opposition having all but 1 seat in the year 2018 general election. In the 2023, the ruling party got 4 seats. Here, the leadership of Harare speak on this issue.
We came here to congratulate His Excellency because all these things we've been able to do, it is because of the works of the hands of His Excellency.
We've done very well. As the President said, I cannot mark my own exam, right? But you and the people out there, you are there to judge.
Mashonaland West Province, that rekindled the second Chimurenga in 1966, came to say congratulations to the President, Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa, for the resounding victory at the polls, led by the provincial chairman, Mary Muliswa Chikoka. Among them were party stalwarts such as Philip Chiangwa, Hepson Mchachitere, and many others, to mention but a few.
We also pledged our allegiance to him and his leadership and our commitment as a province that in all he says, in all he does, we will be following behind him.
On Manicaland, that province bordering Mozambique was one of the major springboards to the struggle for independence. It is also home to some of the late and living sons and daughters of the struggle. Talk of the late founding leader of ZANU, Reverend Dabaning Stole, Herbert Chitepo, Edgar Tekere, and many others. The current chairman of the party, Comrade Opam Chingurikashiri, also hails from Manicaland. And the provincial chairman, Tawanda Mukoza, led the delegation to meet the President to say Makorokoto Amhlope, congratulations. Among the leaders from Manicaland were Comrade Patrick Chinamasa, Comrade Monica Mchangwa, and the Chief Makoni, to mention but a few.
Manicaland, we've won more seats than before. We've done better than we did in the last election.
We were able to engage His Excellency on the challenges that we are facing as Manicaland, as well as the achievements that we have been able to score. And I'm very happy that Manicaland Provincial team is now working very much as a team. And I hope that this will carry on.
It was a very hectic morning. It was for the President, Comrade Emmerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa, as he settles down to deal with matters of state. Ruben Barwa, ZBC News, State House in Harare.
Newly elected legislators have been sworn into office at the new Parliament building in Mount Hampton, with new faces and old guard geared to execute their legislative duties. The swearing-in ceremony was attended by ZANU-PF CCC and CCC legislators, despite earlier indications by the opposition party that it was rejecting the outcome of the August 23 general elections in total.
Legislative business is back as 274 National Assembly members that were elected during the 23rd of August elections took oath of office right in front of the Clerk of Parliament, Mr. Kennedy Chokuda. Only 5 legislators from the two parties were absent due to extenuating circumstances, with the opposition CCC well represented despite rejecting the outcome of the August 23 general elections.
What they should expect today going forwards is an improved economy, improved infrastructure, better health care.
Mikoi inoreva kuti basa ratanga. Tava kusimudzira Vision 2030 ya President. Tava kuno manya pa ground. Tonozadzikidza zvose.
We have to go back where my constituents in Magunje, and people, they were expecting me to come, and what we promised them, we have to do it.
We promised to give the best, like to be courageous leaders and to do the best for our people.
The new look parliament has got 10 youth representing that quota, and they are eager to deliver.
I now have a task to make. I now have a responsibility that I'm carrying on my shoulders to firmly deliver for the people of Zimbabwe.
Tawana representation yedu mu parliament zvinoreva kuti kodzero dzemadzimai dzamirirwa.
From the National Assembly, next in line at the magnificent Parliament building were senators to swear their allegiance.
Basa richaitwa sebasa mitemo ichigadzirwa inogutsa vana veZimbabwe.
Samambo ndinotarisa kuti mitemo ichagadzirwa nemalegislators basa redu isu nderikuona kuti inokwanisa here kubatsira ugaro hwevanhu vedu.
In total, there are 279 National Assembly members, 136 from ZANU-PF and 73 from the CCC, while Gutu West is expected to conduct a by-election to take the total to 280. 80 senators are now on duty, including 33 from ZANU-PF, 27 from CCC, 18 chiefs, and 2 representing persons with disabilities. The end of proceedings in this gallery comes right at the end of the electoral season, and what we now await is the election of presiding officers, that is the President of Senate and the Speaker of Parliament, this Friday. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, New Parliament Building, Mount Hampton.
Certainly was an auspicious occasion earlier on today. Analysts say the swearing in of opposition legislators after the rejection of the August 23 election outcome reflects their dishonesty and indecisiveness.
On the 23rd of August, Zimbabweans voted in the general elections that saw ZANU-PF securing victory, matched to the chagrin of opposition outfit Citizens Coalition for Change, who took to social media rejecting the poll's outcome. However, analysts believe the swearing-in of CCC legislators this Thursday reflects that the opposition agrees with the election process and the eventual outcome.
Today's event actually makes it clear that there is a valid election that took place, and certainly that the opposition have come round to accept that. I think they've done a good thing. We can't continue to be in the mode of conflict around the elections, and certainly any other election that would happen would eat very harshly into the financial pockets of the country, and it would exacerbate a situation of conflict which we do not need or desire at this moment in time.
The fact that today they've gone for swearing in, it clearly shows that they are not disputing the elections, because these are the same elections that saw their members of parliament and their councillors winning, their senators also winning, and President Mnangagwa winning. So in actual fact, they have accepted the results, or perhaps they've also accepted the reality that there is no way Zimbabwe is going to have another election before 2028. So this is generally an acceptance of the results and realization of the reality that exists right now, that there is no way. Even SADC, we saw even a number of SADC leaders who came to witness the inauguration of President Mnangagwa, which in a way was an endorsement of our elections, or acceptance of the results that President Mnangagwa was duly elected as the president of Zimbabwe in terms of the laws of Zimbabwe.
But what would have happened had the opposition chosen not to be sworn in?
The thing to note is that the Constitution does not require that there must be an opposition in Parliament. It's certainly desirable as a way of, checking what government is doing, keeping it on its toes, and so forth, and cross-pollination of ideas. And so eventually, I don't think that the failure to take the oath would have invalidated the oaths taken by those who would have taken them. But obviously, going forward, we still need to ensure that each constituency is represented.
ZANU-PF won 136 seats in the National Assembly, while CCC got 73 seats of the contested 209 seats, with Gutu West constituency set to hold a by-election after the death of an independent candidate before the elections. Olina Ndori, ZBC News, Harare.
The swearing-in ceremony of newly elected National Assembly members and senators has paved way for the election of presiding officers this Friday to set the tone for the opening of the 10th Parliament of Zimbabwe.
The Speaker's chair remains empty, pending this Friday's election of both the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly.
The end of today's swearing-in, the next stage is the election of presiding officers, that is the Speaker and Deputy. That exercise is going to be done tomorrow in this chamber at exactly 10 a.m. And the members that have signed in become the constituents in terms of electing the presiding officer. So the register of members who have been sworn in today is what we are going to use as the register of voters for tomorrow.
Mr. Chokuda also gave an insight on who is eligible to be elected.
For Speaker, you have to be a registered member, you must be eligible to be a member of Parliament, and you must be on the voters' roll. That is what qualifies a person to be elected as Speaker. Then second, they must be nominated by one of the members of Parliament and duly seconded. If we don't get just one candidate, we will not proceed with elections. But if we get more than one nominations, we'll then proceed with the elections for Speaker. The same will apply for Deputy Speaker. But for Deputy Speaker, the person must be a duly elected member of Parliament. For Speaker, it can be a current member of Parliament or a person who is eligible to be a member of Parliament, who is not in Parliament, they are eligible to be elected Speaker.
The date of the official opening of the 10th Parliament will be set by His Excellency President Emmerson Mnangagwa, and according to the Constitution, this date is supposed to be set within 30 days after the inauguration of the President. Fungai Jachi, ZBC News, Mount Hampton.
Now, the Opposition Citizens Coalition for Change, CCC, has taken in yet another swearing-in of councillors despite earlier attempts to discredit the results of the August 23 general elections. CCC members were among the newly elected councillors who were sworn in around the country this Thursday after their Bulawayo counterparts were sworn in on Wednesday.
In Zvishavane, a total of 13 councillors who won in the just-ended general elections took their oath of office before Zvishavane Town Council Acting Secretary Mr. Alan Chaparadza at the council chambers this Thursday. 10 councillors from the opposition CCC were among the local authority representatives who took their oath of office. The opposition outfit has been in overdrive demanding fresh polls amid unsubstantiated claims that the elections were not credible. After the swearing-in ceremony, the newly elected councillors promised to champion development in the mineral-rich town.
We've got our targets, Nema projects, Atagara, Takasira Nzira, because we want our city to be a smart city and we want to achieve a city status.
Tutasira kuchinja zvakanyanyisa kubatana kunyanya ndokunoita kuti zvinhu zvedu zvifambe zvakanaka tisingasarudzani kuti uyu akamira sei uyu akamira sei.
Inini pachangu zvangu mukanzo munomu chanakada kundipinde munomu ndichokuti mandine ndaona machallenges acho ndoreza chibatsira community.
Chandiri kupromisa kuti ndichaita ndechekuti tiri kumirira madzimai toziva kuti madzimai ane madambudziko emvura kuti takwanisa kuti tigadzire mvura ive ichibuda kuti madzimai asafamba madistance akati akawanda.
Zvishavane Town Council Acting Secretary Mr. Alan Chaparadza urged the new councillors to champion development in the mining town.
We are one team. We are here for development. We don't look at any other side besides focusing on the upgrading of our service delivery to the electorate.
Out of 13 councillors who were sworn in, 10 were elected on the 23rd of August, while 3 were elected through the quota system.
The script was the same in Chipinge this Thursday when 10 councillors, including 9 from the Citizens Coalition for Change, were sworn in at Chipinge Town Council. The councillors vowed to hit the ground running in addressing enhancement of social service delivery in the town.
Tichatanga kupusha imvura kuti ipane mumawadzi mese ikwanise kuswera ichibuda nokuti so far inongobuda 2 hours kana kuti 3 hours yovharwa.
Susu sema councillors tisuma players anofana kutotaura nemaresidents matinogara kuti vabhadhare marates avo then abhadhara to developa nzvimbo yedu.
Ini sekuona kwangu tinotoda kugara pasi the stakeholders residents toona kuti tinotanga papi.
Chipinge District Development Coordinator Mr. William Mashava urged the newly sworn-in councillors to be impartial and serve the interests of residents without favor.
Please, takabva kwakasiyana, and that's a fact. But taamuno taamakanzera.
The 10 councillors comprise 8 who were elected on the 23rd of August and 2 elected through the women and youth quota system.
In Victoria Falls, C councillors were sworn in by the city town clerk Ronnie Duve this Thursday in a move which appears to be a departure from the party's stance of rejecting the outcome of the recent general election. Speaking after the swearing-in ceremony, residents implored the newly elected councillors to provide safe drinking water and collect refuse.
I would like to urge my new councillors to work mostly and focus on youth and girl child in Victoria Falls.
Now we expect them to deliver, to save the community.
Dambudziko remvura riri kuramba richitewera isusu tiri naZambezi ruwanikwe riri dambudziko rinowanikwa richizopera kuburikidza nekushanda kwemakanselas.
The incoming councillors pledged to improve service delivery as expected by residents.
Tizancedisana futhi ukuthi abantu bebhadale amanzi ukwenzela ukuthi icouncil ithole ama-resources anje ukuthi kuncediswane izakhamizi lecouncil ukuthi kuhambe kahle.
The city of Victoria Falls has 11 wards and 3 council seats under the women's quota.
Thank you so much. Sorry for that abrupt end. African heads of state and government have agreed on the urgent reform of multilateral financial systems to secure funding for climate mitigation and adaptation projects.
The Nairobi Declaration capped the three-day Africa Climate Summit, which was dominated by discussions on how to mobilize financial resources for adapting to extreme weather conditions, conserve natural resources, and develop renewable energy. The continent's leaders put developed nations to task for them to honor commitments to provide $100 billion in annual climate funding. Zimbabwe's head of delegation to the summit and the Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, Dr. Entra Masuka, explained the significance of the Nairobi Declaration in uniting African leaders to champion green growth and climate finance solutions.
It can account for the resources that are used to sequester carbon. More importantly, we want a restructured international financing system that de-risks Africa, but also enables us to pay appropriately tenured and lower interest rates for the capitalization that we want to do in order to transform Africa. Development in Africa will not stop. Development in Zimbabwe will not stop. So we invite the global partners to be able to assist us and complement our efforts.
Zimbabwe also noted that the African continent is acutely vulnerable to the growing impact of climate change, hence focus is now on unlocking investments in clean energy.
What has just come out of the summit is the cost of capital, which is too high in Africa and again in Zimbabwe. So this needs to be, the financial architecture needs to be looked into with the possibility of revising so that projects don't come at a very high cost.
Africa has potentially 40% sources of renewable energy, and the only difference for us to realize that potential is for us to be able to access funding.
The Nairobi Declaration also proposes new global taxes and reforms to international financial institutions to help find climate change action in a pledge that will form the basis of Africa's negotiating position at the United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP28, set for the United Arab Emirates in November. Memory Chamisa, ZBC News, Harare.
Now, the Agricultural and Rural Development Authority, ADA, is accelerating its irrigation development and market gardening projects to promote financial inclusion and ensure national food security.
In line with government's rural industrialization agenda, the Agriculture and Rural Development Authority, ADA, is set to establish 35,000 village business units, 9,600 school business units, and 450 irrigation schemes across the country.
Under the Presidential Rural Development Program, we are now registering the village horticulture gardens across the 35,000 villages as our village business units. The 450 irrigation schemes in the country are being registered as irrigation business units. And we have also been mandated to register school business units in a whole of a government approach, working with the parent ministry and other government agencies.
The ZBC News visited schools such as Narira Primary School in Mbare and Kwayedza High School in Highfield, Harare, where the projects are already in motion. The schools have already cultivated crops such as cabbages and tomatoes with drip irrigation. Schools such as Nyawuna Adventist Mission have also embraced the government's program, with the production of horticultural produce now in full swing. The project, being implemented by other partners such as the Zimbabwe National Water Authority, is anchored on the Agriculture 8.0 model, aimed at transforming communities through the establishment of profitable, viable and sustainable village, youth and school business units. John Nandara, ZBC News, Harare.
Women's rights organizations are advocating for mentorship programs in communities and schools to curb teenage pregnancies in the wake of revelations that 21% of childbirths between 2019 and 2020 were adolescents.
Findings from a new national assessment on adolescent pregnancies in Zimbabwe conducted by the Center for Sexual Health and HIV/AIDS Research, Zimbabwe, in conjunction with the Ministry of Health and Child Care, UNICEF, UNESCO and UNFPA, has revealed a worrying trend of teenage pregnancies from as young as 10 years old, with some of them testing positive for HIV. It is in this context that women rights organizations are calling for more education and mentorship programs to empower the girl child.
We have noted with concern that young women have no information around issues of sex and sexuality. They don't have information on the consequences of having premarital sex or sex when they are very young. So it's something we are also focusing on, trying to raise awareness.
The lack of mentorship, the lack of exposure to role models will lead to these young girls having nothing to look forward to, having nobody to look at and be inspired by. So we really need to expose them to mentorship programs. We need to expose them to access to skill. We need to expose them to access to educational tools that can lead to their empowerment.
According to the report, an estimated 1,706,946 antenatal care bookings were made in 1,560 healthcare facilities from 2019 to 2022 among women of childbearing age. Of these, 21% were among adolescents aged between 10 and 19. The study found that pregnant and adolescent mothers were found in all geographical locations, but mostly concentrated in rural areas, mining and farming communities, and were more likely to be from single-parent households or staying with non-biological parents. Adolescents either voluntarily engaged in sex or were coerced by their partners, while very few were sexually abused. Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Harare.
The Judicial Service Commission, JSC, says that the integrated electronic case management system has been facing intermittent system challenges. In a statement, JSC said its technical team has since rectified the problem and is implementing measures to ensure the system does not encounter such glitches in future. For more inquiries, the public can contact the JSE call center number on 086 880 0742 or +263 774 839 177 or WhatsApp number +263 774 839 177 or send an email to zimicms@jse.org.zw.
And now we take you through stories you can still expect in tonight's bulletin.
Cannibal serial killer Thandolwe Nkosi Ndlovu in the dock. Gruesome details on the killing of 6 people have emerged.
And in sport, ZIFA Normalization Committee to appoint Warriors coach within the next 2 weeks. We're off to a break. Stay with us.
As a parliamentary candidate in the recent harmonized elections, I congratulate His Excellency the President, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, for winning the presidential elections resoundingly. This affirms that his development strategy is working, it should continue, it is on the right path, making sure that no one and no place is left behind.
Congratulations, Your Excellency, President Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, on your inauguration. I am confident that you will continue to transform Zimbabwe through your adoption of pro-people policies. Amhlope, Makorokoto, congratulations, Shumba Morambwi.
My husband works even harder today than he did when he was younger. He never thinks of himself. It's not an easy job, but it paid for our house and keeps our kids in school. So when he comes home, he deserves to relax. And he cleans up all right, don't you think? New Aura Beauty Soap for skin that glows. From the House of Zimgold.
The Mashonaland West Young Farmers Club mentors Dr. Tinashe Ziki, Dr. Howard Maroa, Mr. Ephraim Pasipanojla, and Mr. Mike Mutasa, and its chairman Mr. Tichaona Mafoche, and secretary Mr. Farai Chirinda, extend their heartfelt congratulations to His Excellency, Comrade Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, on his re-election as President of Zimbabwe. Through your support to the agriculture sector, Zimbabwe has again become food self-sufficient, while also recording the highest tobacco output in the country's history. As young farmers, we cherish the support you give us, which has seen many young people being economically emancipated. We wish you, Your Excellency, good health and great success in leading the nation towards prosperity and the attainment of Vision 2030. Congratulations, Makorokoto, Amhlope, Shumba Murambi.
The Minister of Industry and Commerce, Honorable Dr. Sekai Ainzenza, Deputy Minister, Honorable Rajesh Kumar I. Modi, Permanent Secretary, Dr. Mavis Sivanda, Chief Directors, Directors, and staff are particularly pleased to extend their warm-hearted congratulations to His Excellency, Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, for his resounding victory in the 2023 harmonized elections. Under the administration of His Excellency, manufacturing and commercial sectors have improved significantly owing to friendly policies. His leadership has led to the expansion and resuscitation of industries over the last 5 years. Capacity utilization jumped from as low as 36.4% in 2019 to about 66% currently, leading to employment creation for the Zimbabwean population. In the commercial sector, shelf space occupancy of locally manufactured products has increased to above 80%. As Zimbabwe strives to become an empowered, prosperous upper middle income society by 2030, may the Almighty continue to bless and guide you. Congratulations, Makorokoto Amhlope.
River Valley Properties Chairman, Mr. Mnetisi Dube, CEO, Dr. Simeli Dube, and staff would like to congratulate His Excellency, Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, for winning the 2023 presidential race and for ZANU-PF's crushing victory at the polls in the general elections. At River Valley Properties, we say congratulations, Your Excellency, and thank you for delivering the Zimbabwe we want. A Zimbabwe that is united, peaceful, progressive, and open for business. We look forward to the future with great hope. Indeed, the future is bright for Zimbabwe as we build it as one. Makorokoto Shumbamrambi. Amhlope. Congratulations. Nyika inovakwa nevene vayo. Ilizwe lakiwa ngabanikazi vayo. Tisuve nevenyika. Ngativakei pamwe chete. River Valley Properties. Decent housing for all. Welcome back. Cannibal murder suspect Thandulenkosi Ndlovu mercilessly took the lives of 6 people on the streets of Harare before eating their body parts. The murder suspect appeared in court this Thursday, where he was remanded in custody to Monday next week after requesting to seek assistance of a legal practitioner. Let's get more on that story.
Ndlovu is being accused of killing 6 people in Harare Central Business District by crushing their heads with concrete blocks before eating the victims' body parts, appeared at Harare Magistrate Court this Thursday. It is a story that has sent shivers down many spine as the man whose name speaks of the love of God is accused to have gone against one of the 10 commandments, mercilessly cannibalizing his victims within a week of terror on the streets of Harare, with the long arm of the law having caught up with the murder suspect. Ndlovu appeared in court this Thursday, where he was not asked to plead and was advised to apply for bail at the High Court.
Horrific details of how he allegedly tormented his victims emerged, with the court being told that on the 28th of August, Lovu approached the late Emmanuel Godfrey, who was asleep on a pavement near Chinengundu building at corner George Sulundika Avenue and Simon Mzenda Street in Harare, before crushing his head using a concrete block. The accused is alleged to have killed the victim and slit open his stomach and took some body parts yet to be established. The accused was allegedly at it again on the 31st of August when he approached another victim who was asleep at corner Ines Terrace and Robert Mugabe Roads, where he used the same modus operandi to kill the victim. Love also stands accused of the brutal murder of 4 other people using the same method. The suspect ran out of luck on the 4th of this month after detectives from CID Homicide Harare got information linking the accused to the offences. The Love case has since sent shockwaves across the country, with those living and working in the streets fearing for their own safety. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
The catastrophic fire which destroyed Glenview Area 8 home industry complex last weekend for the 18th time has raised eyebrows on what could be the cause of infernos that occur around the same time each year.
On the 2nd of this month, the Informal Economy Fraternity woke up to the devastating news of yet another fire outbreak at the Glenview Area 8 complex in Harare. The complex houses over 1,000 informal enterprises that specialize in the production and selling of furniture. The fire has now become an annual occurrence, which has made the complex a risky place to work from. What makes the situation appalling is days down the line, no one can give a plausible explanation as to what really transpired on the day, neither has anyone been held accountable. But even after their sheds were razed down, the carpenters come back with hope that the local authority will provide a lasting solution. As the smell of smoke fills the air, covered in sawdust, the handymen nail the wood away while some ladies step on the machine as they work under the scorching sun. Some work in sheds made of planks or metal roofing sheets, while others are in the open. The cause of the fire remains mysterious as traders and witnesses give different versions of events, ranging from suspected electrical faults to cigarette butts thrown away carelessly.
Saka magetsi anoda kunyatsogadzirwa ameundi indawo moto achingotanga pamwe paitongoreka moto yangotanga zitoshango chichitongoitika moto unongosimuka munoma haumbooni kwaunotangira unotozongoona wakutobaka moto usingatombosii kana kuti wabva kupi chaiko kuti wakatanga sei unongotanga nepanhuwani unongotangira kumberi kuguri neguri.
Tinongonzwawo kuti dzimwe nguva ifodya dzimwe nguva magetsi anenge asipaka
11 o'clock to 4 atizivi kuti unokonzera nei moto uri kunetsa moto wepana uri kutonetsa uri kunzi mukatsva magetsi apisa mukatsva hanzi pauya njuzu iri kuya ichipisa ndo iri kupisa saka hapafi pakabatika munhu ari kukonzera moto.
While the area is said to be run by the local authority, there seems to be no end in sight to the fire outbreaks, and traders have lost hope and now work in fear of the next incident. Memory Chamisa, ZBC News, Harare.
Now going to be crossing over to our Montrose studio where we're joined by Marilyn Ngwenya. Good evening, Marilyn, and over to you.
Good evening, and it's always a pleasure to you, Farai and Natasha. And now in our following report, Zimbabwe's biggest mining expo, Mine Entra, is set to be held from the 1st to the 3rd of November, with focus on evaluating mining exploration in the country.
The 25th edition of the Premier Mining, Engineering and Transport exhibition in Zimbabwe, which comes on the backdrop of the huge developments in the extractive sector, is set to evaluate progress made in the mining sector. The mining industry has been heavily focused on attaining a sustainable $12 billion United States mining economy by end of this year.
The mining sector has set itself a target of $12 billion industry by the end of this year, 2023, and Mine Entra seeks to to evaluate the progress, see the opportunities that have arisen as a result of that target, and the challenges that have been faced in pursuit of that target. So it is a relevant platform, and we certainly hope that it's going to be a tremendous show, judging by the inquiries that we have so far received from the country, internally in the country as well as from the region.
The expo, which is being held under the theme Accelerating Economic Transformation through Mineral Beneficiation, calls on stakeholders to embrace technology and focus on beneficiation of minerals. Concurrent events at the showcase will include the Mine Entra Conference and the Small Scale and Artisanal Miners Conference. The exhibition is organized by the Ministry of Mines and Mining Development in partnership with the Chamber of Mines of Zimbabwe. Yolanda Moyo, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Kings of industry are set to gather at the CEO Africa Roundtable set for Victoria Falls, where they are expected to galvanize government support towards building an improved business operating environment.
The private sector is confident further policy fine-tuning in the next 5 years will improve the operating environment to ensure the business community becomes a reliable partner in the country's economic development. This comes when captains of industry are set to converge in Victoria Falls for the CEO Africa annual roundtable from the 11th to the 13th of next month. CEO Africa Roundtable Chief Executive Officer Mr. Kipson Gundani noted that the conference, which will be the first big gathering of captains of industry after the 2023 plebiscite, is expected to set the tone for an improved business operating environment.
How do we grow our companies to be global companies? How do you grow the companies in Africa to be billion-dollar companies in terms of revenue? If you look at the statistics, Africa is lagging behind in terms of having huge corporates that can really impactfully transform Africa. And the roundtable is an opportunity to unleash that. So we've assembled a very dynamic program to be able to tackle a number of issues in various sectors with the aim to uproot our members to dream big, think big, and invest big.
CEO Africa Roundtable Chairperson Mr. Oswo Bina added that the platform is an opportunity to seek audience with government to fine-tune policy positions on issues like currency reforms, which are key in accelerated industrial growth.
We want certainty in the manner in which government is dealing with issues of money. For how long are we going to be in multi-currencies? That question needs to be answered now to avoid uncertainties. For how long are we going to be in a de-dollarizing process, if at all that whole process is proceeding? That answer is going to be given.
The Second Republic has taken a paradigm shift in dealing and engaging with the private sector towards economic policy formulation, and the CEO Africa Roundtable has become a revered platform where government meets private sector stakeholders to share and discuss policies. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
A 51-year-old woman from Mashura area in Gwanda has refused to let disability determine her destiny after taking up the challenge to fend for her family without restriction.
As winter gives way to spring, trees start to leaf out with the chirping and grating sounds of cicadas nyenze sporadically being heard from the mountains of Mashura area on the boundary of Midlands and Matabeleland South provinces. Those who understand the shift of seasons understand that it is the time to start preparing for the summer cropping season. But in that new life being symbolized by the sprouting, budding and leafing out of trees, we came across a situation that broke our hearts. This is Raramisa Chamauya, a 51-year-old villager born with disability. Like many, she braves the scorching sun to prepare her field. As she crawls from her house to the field, she is in high spirits as she knows that hard work pays, despite the fact that nature has been unfair to her.
ndadhiga udlinde ndichichera ndakagara saizvizvi svikira ndapedza muupenyu hwangu chiita kuti ndizvibatsire muupenyu hwangu. Kudzidza handina kudzidza, ndakuenda kuchikoro. Baba vakaramba kuti ndiende kuchikoro. Ndaida zvachose kuenda kwaJairos asi baba vakaramba. Ndinouya ndochera. Ndachera ndosifamba ndichiita kuisa mupfudze mukati. Toiswa mbeu tochindini kuchengeta iye andenda lokutadzwara avo tabvisa mumunda ndodzwara.
In that unfair world, village elders believe a lot still needs to be done to empower people with disabilities at household level.
Sesifanele sibone ukuthi ngesikhathi esiyabe sinje kuyini esingayenza uncedo kuyi.
Tatichemera kuti dai zvawanikwa yangu nzidzo yevakuru chaivo vanikwa vachidzidzisiwa kuti vagone kuzvinyorera, vagone kupawo maproject kuti vazvibatsirewo.
Siyosile sifiso sokuthi bathola usizo singathi ama resources ukuthi bakwanise ukuthi baphile njengabantu.
Maybe like the biblical pool of Bethsaida, where an angel would come down to stir the water so that the sick would be healed. Raramisa's 51 years of waiting is over after a local organization donated a wheelchair and other aids.
You can miss disability at birth, but you can find it later on. So every child, whether with or without disability, should be accorded equal opportunities.
The Second Republic is on a massive drive to promote inclusivity in schools and other institutions, with the National Disability Policy having been launched by President Emmerson Mnangagwa in June 2021. Providence Maranelli, ZBC News, Gwanda.
Such a hard-working woman right there, proving to everyone that disability is not inability. And now it's back to the team at Pocket Hill Studios in Harare for more news.
Thank you so much there, Marilyn, for giving us that update from our Montrose studio. Now, still looking at more stories. A permanent secretary in the Ministry of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Mr. Nick Mangwana, has underscored the need for risk policies in government departments to ensure effective implementation of set objectives.
Mr. Mangwana made the clarion call while officiating at the Ministry's Enterprise Risk Management Workshop at the Zimbabwe Institute of Public Administration Management in Darwindale this Thursday. He noted that training is critical in promoting a coherent approach for the adoption of risk management and understanding the requirements and mitigation of risk.
We had a few incidents which put the ministry at risk. And these incidents were never in any risk register. But I'm told that when you come from here, you have two outputs. One of them is the risk policy. The other one is the risk register. I'm not here to lecture. I'm not here to deliver a lesson. But if I were to do that, I would ask the question that what risk did we were we exposed to? What risk did threaten even our existence? We are a communication ministry, and one of the best ways of mitigating any risk is to have information, is to communicate. As a communication ministry, the more we fail to communicate among ourselves, the higher the risk.
Workshop facilitator Dr. Moses Chundu unpacked some of the main risk factors associated with public institutions.
In government, we are talking about what we call the most common types of risks. The first one that featured most we discussed is technology risk. The risk that our machines, our systems may fail in the process disrupting service delivery. The second one we talked about is cybersecurity risk, which is related to technology risk, but here we're talking of the potential attacks on our systems that has a bearing in terms of security systems in the country.
The training program is in line with the provisions of the law that speak to management of public finances. Tamba Ugagora, ZBC News, Darwindale.
We now take a break and return with business news. Stay with us.
Airports Company of Zimbabwe Private Limited, ACZ, wishes to congratulate His Excellency, Comrade Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, on his inauguration into a second term in office after winning the 2023 elections. We, the board, management and staff of ACZ, are thrilled to witness this historic moment and look forward to continued progress and development under your leadership. Hashtag Zimbabwe, hashtag Inauguration 2023.
The Air Zimbabwe Board, management and staff send their heartfelt congratulations to His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe and Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, for his resounding victory and endorsement in the just-ended 2023 harmonized elections. Nyika inovakwa nevayo, ilizwe lakiwa ngabanikazi balo, makorokoto amhlophe, congratulations. Air Zimbabwe, Zimbabwean hospitality in the skies.
Leandra.
For all your chicken slice deliveries, simply call 086 77 00 8677 or download the app on Google Play Store. Chicken Slice, I love it.
Zimbabwe Consolidated Diamond Company Private Limited Board, management and staff congratulate His Excellency, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, on his re-election and inauguration as the President of Zimbabwe. We remain committed to contribute meaningfully towards achieving a $1 billion United States diamond industry through sustainable production of diamonds for the benefit of Zimbabwe. We join the nation in rallying behind your astute and progressive leadership. Congratulations, Makorokoto Amhlope, Your Excellency.
The Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Masvingo, Honorable Ezra Ruvaicha Dzamira, the Secretary, Dr. J.K. Sakupanya, directors and staff, congratulates the Head of State and Government, Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, His Excellency Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, on his inauguration following a resounding victory in the just-ended harmonized, peaceful, free and fair elections. May the Almighty God grant you wisdom, courage and good health as you guide the country towards an upper middle income economy by the year 2030. Nyika inovakwa, igotongwa, igonamatirwa nevayo. Makorokoto amhlope. Congratulations.
Delicious treats at Creamy Inn. Come in store now for the freshest creamy treats. Creamy Inn! Enjoy life.
Welcome back to business. Zimbabwe's horticulture exports to global markets are expected to increase as more smallholder farmers are integrated into mainstream business operations. Let's get the details.
The launch of the Horticulture Export Masterclass in Harare this Thursday provided a platform for stakeholders to assess the current performances and offer strategies for growth. While data released at the unveiling ceremony indicates a growing demand of horticulture produce in global markets, it is the masterclass aspirations to integrate smallholder farmers into mainstream businesses that has excited the industry's value chains.
There is always glut in some of these producers because farmers have got this belief that there are a lot of opportunities out there. They venture into production, but then they are not sure of the market. So my advice would be for these farmers not to grow any crop without being assured of a market.
I encourage other farmers to go into horticulture so that we produce more horticulture crops for export.
You need to have a coherence between the market, the production, and the farmer himself, so that we emancipate production of horticulture in Zimbabwe.
Government has also identified horticulture as a key economic enabler in terms of foreign currency generation, with the regulatory authorities endorsing the Horticulture Export Masterclass document.
We have got a mandate as Zimtrade to assist or to grow our exports by 10% year on year. So in terms of this Export Masterclass, it will actually assist our small-scale holder farmers in terms of the yield per hectare, post-harvest issues to do with post-harvest losses, issues to do with increasing their yield.
The Horticulture Export Masterclass also seeks to support the value chain players with market information and trade performances, access to loan financing at concessional rates, providing technical expertise to the growers, formulating value addition strategies, helping smallholder growers with the training systems, and assisting government with the capacity building programs. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
Government says it will continue implementing tight fiscal and monetary policy interventions during the post-election period to consolidate the existing gains.
Government introduced several measures in May this year that have to date resulted in a continuous drop in inflation rates and a strengthening of the local currency exchange rate. As a result, Zimbabweans have also benefited from stable pricing models, with the business community being able to make sustainable projections in their planning. With the general elections now over, the Minister of Finance and Economic Development has assured Zimbabweans of a continuous implementation of measures to further consolidate gains. In a statement, the Treasury said the government will continue to ensure stability and focus on more measures to boost production, emphasizing that measures are put in place by Treasury and the Central Bank in stabilizing the economy are still in motion. Some of the measures include the need to ensure there is no foreign currency backlog in the foreign exchange market and enabling government utilities to charge fees in a local currency. The sentiments by the Treasury are being made as part of initiatives to calm markets, ensure certainty, facilitate development, and overall macroeconomic development. Treasury has therefore maintained its thrust on the projected growth forecast of 5.3% by end of this year. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
And now in the arts segment, one of the country's most prestigious pageants, Miss Universe Zimbabwe, returns on the 16th of this month with the event slated for the Hippodrome in Braeside, Harare.
The Miss Universe Zimbabwe, who will be crowned on the 16th of this month, will represent the country at the 72nd edition of Miss Universe, set for El Salvador in November.
We are done with the first stages of the competition. We held our auditions across Zimbabwe, inclusive of all the 10 provinces, including an 11th province, which we call the Diaspora Province, where we're including every Zimbabwean national that's studying or living or working in the diaspora. So we opened up that via our WhatsApp platforms and our website for anyone that would like to participate who's Zimbabwean and owns a Zimbabwean passport. After that, we had our top 25 drawn from the various provinces. And then just 2 days ago, we cut down to top 12 based on an online interview we had on Zoom with all the 25 contestants.
Organizers have released names of the 12 finalists of the pageant, which will be held under the theme Beautifully Confident. Zimbabwe's last appearance at the global pageant was in 2001, with Korean crew having made it into the top 10 at the Miss Universe finals in 2000. Colette Msanyera, ZBC News, Harare.
Folklore and storytelling are still alive, with the veteran artists in Bulawayo having taken it upon themselves to pressure African culture through art.
Despite the fast-paced life that has engulfed the younger generation coupled with cultural erosion, senior citizens are deriving beauty from works of art with hopes that it will generate interest in African culture. This comes after artists above the age of 70 got a chance to showcase their works at an exhibition titled For the Elders at the National Art Gallery in Bulawayo this Thursday.
Abantwana kulensuku khangane abasafuna izinto ezindala nje. Kodwa esikwenza umsebenzi owenza ukubumba uyabumba uzama ukuthi batshengise khona okusenzakala kudala ukuthi bamele baye emfuleni bamele bagige bamele benzeni bamele betheza yonke nje impilo babe semasimini benza konke nje ngithanda ukuthi ngani bakulandela khona ngoba impilo yesintwini ivele imnandi mthethwayo.
Impilo yakathesi isitshiyene leyakuqala esasiyiphila thina kathi ke ngemfanekiso le esiyabe sidweba aluba abantu abethu bayakunanzelela ubana bebone ukuthi kathi imfanekiso le esiyidwebayo ikhulumani ngoba ikhuluma impilo esasiphila kudala eyayilula.
If you look at this particular piece, this is the Tonga door. In their culture they've got that doors, like even right now. In fact, the Tonga culture is the only culture that did not get that penetration of the Western religion. Even up to now, if you get to Tonga land, you'll be able to see what they are doing. Whereas most of the cultures, they've been infiltrated.
The general agreement is that cultural preservation remains key in nation building and safeguarding of Ubuntu Unu.
Culture most definitely a preserver of the people. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by Lawrence Tresida with all things sports related. Stay tuned.
Tel One board, management and staff wish to express a hearty congratulations to His Excellency President Emmerson Mnangagwa on his re-election as the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe. Your Excellency, we are certainly motivated by the confidence shown in your leadership by the majority of Zimbabweans, which has given you a fresh mandate to carry on the work you started. We look forward to contribute to your vision of transforming Zimbabwe through continuous innovation and development of Zimbabwe's communication landscape. Makorokoto Amhlope, congratulations.
Right, our first order of business is to determine which constituency will be best served.
Point of order.
On what point of order are you raising up?
According to food chapter yethu, chapter 2, clause 6.
Yes.
Ithini ngokudla kuma meeting? Ngichasisele ukuthi uhamba njani.
Honorable Kukara, stand up and come forward. Yes. Take him out. Chicken slice. Today is Wednesday. Wangu Wednesday. Let me dispose of this.
Enjoy Wangu Wednesdays with Chicken Slice. Get an extra free chicken piece or medium chips when you order a 2-slicer every Wednesday at Chicken Slice. I love it.
It's back to school and we're going shopping. Yay! Now,
word I start.
Okay, my happy place.
It's the Premier League, all on DSTV. All the goals, clashes, and moments. All of Rashford, Salah, and Saka.
This start is getting better and better and better.
All in HD.
It just makes no sense.
Available on all these bouquets to choose from. To watch on all these devices. Stay connected for all the action. It's the Premier League, all on DSTV.
Creamy Inn is the home for the freshest creamy treats. So much goodness on the menu, so you can beat the heat. Creamy Inn's got you covered for the cool summer fun. I scream, you scream, we scream for Creamy Inn. Enjoy life and delicious treats at Creamy Inn.
Come in store now for the freshest creamy treats.
Creamy Inn!
Enjoy life.
Good evening once again, and thank you so much for joining us on our Sports News. My name is Lawrence Tresida. We start off with news from the Warriors that they'll get more game time as the senior men's national team is set to take on neighbors Botswana as part of their 57th independence celebrations on the 30th of this month.
The Warriors will take on the Zebras in their own backyard as they celebrate their independence anniversary. However, with the 2024 African Nations Championships CHAN qualifiers set to kick off a week before the match, the Warriors are still without a substantive coach. Sunday Chizambwa, who presided over the 5-4 victory over Namibia in the Inauguration Cup, was just in charge for that one match. The ZIFA Normalization Committee, led by former Dynamos chairman Lincoln Mutasa, which was appointed close to 2 months ago, has however urged the nation not to panic.
We're hoping within the next 2 weeks, max, we would have concluded the interviews as well as agreed with what a candidate or the suitable candidate. And immediately he gets down to task because he has to give us a team that will actually have to go and play in Botswana. We've agreed to play them at their independence, which is September 30th. So we're hoping the substantive coach will be able to travel with the team then.
The Warriors are also scheduled to host Nigeria in November in a 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier, but have no match venue to host the encounter. The Normalization Committee is now in its final stage of setting up a technical committee that will interview prospective national team coaches with the assistance of a human resources firm.
Staying with football, Harare Giants Dynamos are bubbling with confidence as they prepare for a clash of the Titans against Bulawayo Giants Highlanders at Barberfield Stadium on Sunday.
The Harare Giants host Highlanders in a rare home fixture away from home at Barberfield Stadium on Sunday. Dimbare have not beaten Bosso in a league match since 2017 and will need to be at their best against a wounded Highlanders. The Bulawayo Giants are coming from 2 successive 2-0 defeats at the hands of FC Platinum and Chicken Inn, hence they are desperate for points, but that is not deterring Dynamos.
I still have pressure because it's football. Fuhamba upatina sethatha ama points. Pressure silayo because we are focusing on the game.
Head coach Genesis Mangombe, who will be in charge in the Battle of Zimbabwe for the first time, is calm about the situation.
You know, losing 2 games in a row is difficult for them. But you know, they are wounded, so they can do anything. And also they want to grind result. They will try by all means to upset us. So we are prepared for that as well. So it's game on, and it's game on, and it's a derby, different from from other games.
Dynamos will miss the services of goalkeeper Prince Tafire Mutsa and defender Donald Drinyayi due to injury. The gate charges for the encounter have been hiked, with the rest of the ground set at $5 United States.
Battle lines have been drawn in the epic clash pitting Old Force Dynamos and Highlanders set for Emagomeni. A mouth-watering tie is in the offing as the two usually dish out their best whenever they meet. Having played to a 0-0 stalemate in the reverse fixture, the Battle of Zimbabwe Part 2 comes when Dynamos are enjoying a purple patch under new coach Genesis Mangombe, while Boso are wounded after losing their last 2 matches after a 19-match unbeaten run. Highlanders coach Baltimore Brito is unfazed by the recent turn of events.
Preparing one team after 2 defeats is only hard when you don't have players with character. If you have people that they know that they are strong and they have a mentality, a good mentality, this is not hard. So our preparations, they are going well. They are going with the responsibility of playing a derby. We know it, every one of us knowing it.
Brito is adamant that despite the 2 successive losses, his charges have shown signs of improvement. Highlanders vice-captain Peter Mutua believes they've done their homework to win Sunday's game. Highlanders skipper and goalkeeper Errol Sibanda, who has conceded 4 goals in the past 2 matches, believes a strong sense of belief will be key.
If you're looking at the games, it's not conceded. You know, you've got to be about 8 games not conceded. Obviously, you're bound to concede some parts. What is important is, to pick up yourself and look back which makes sense and know right. You can't see the football panel. As which one consider so one is so in
Highlanders will come back enterprising midfielder Macnon Mushore from suspension, but will miss midfielder Darlington Mukuli, who joins versatile midfielder Godfrey Makaruse in the treatment room.
From football, we move on to the sport that is played with the oval-shaped ball, that is rugby, where Zimbabwe is excited to be hosting the Africa Men's Sevens Cup that is slated for Harare Sports Club on the 16th and the 17th of this month.
The 12-team tournament will see Africa's rugby powerhouses competing for a chance to represent the continent at the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris. World powerhouse South Africa, African giants Kenya and Uganda are some of the teams that will be in Harare battling to be Africa's best. Uganda are the defending champions, having won the previous tournament in which South Africa did not participate since they had already qualified for the Olympics. For Zimbabwe, the chance to host the Blitzpoker of South Africa is massive.
It's been a while. I can't even remember when they last came through. So we our fans are only used to seeing them on TV as they go through the world. So this time they'll be able to see them here on African soil, on Zimbabwean soil.
Zimbabwe's 7th team, the Cheetahs, are leaving no stone unturned as they seek qualification for the Olympics. The Cheetahs have been in South Africa for a high-performance camp, and they've also called in some foreign-based players, including the New Zealand-based Brandon Mudzekenyedzi. The winner will qualify for the 2024 Paris Olympics, while the 2nd and 3rd placed teams will get another chance in the 2024 final qualification tournament on a date yet to be announced. The top 2 teams will also participate in the 2024 World Rugby Challenger Series.
So that's what we managed to hear for you in our sports news today. It's now time for the weather.
Hello viewers, I trust I find you well. It's a warm welcome on tonight's weather report and forecast, courtesy of the Met Department. I'm Linia. This morning we had a cool and moist southeasterlies being stirred into the country, and hence we had morning clouds which dissipated as the day progressed, as can be seen from the satellite images where we had mostly sunny skies over the northern provinces of Zimbabwe. However, to the south and to the eastern parts of Zimbabwe, we had cloud conditions in the morning, but this cloud dissipated by the afternoon, paving way to generally warm conditions right across the country, with some places in the low-lying areas having hot conditions. Tomorrow, anticipating sunny skies right across the country. Should be cool in the morning, becoming rather hot by the afternoon in most areas, and we encourage everybody not to expose yourself to direct sunlight for long hours, as this has health implications. This can cause heat stress, it can cause dehydration, it can cause even rashes for some people. So make sure that you have a sun hat or even an umbrella when you're exposed to direct sunlight for some time. Let's have a look at the temperatures in detail for the major cities. We're anticipating sunny skies in all of the cities, and our temperatures are expected to lie mostly in the lower 30s and upper 20s 20s for a few places, but in this set of towns, our temperatures are expected to lie mostly in the warm category by the afternoon. Thus, the lower 30s. Kadoma should be hot with 33 degrees Celsius by the afternoon. For the other set of major cities, we're anticipating our temperatures again. Marondera is the only one which is expected to have a temperature below 30 degrees Celsius, 29 degrees Celsius. That should be warm in Marondera, but the other cities are expected to be warm, with Lupane and Gwanda expected to have hot conditions by the afternoon. In the morning, we're anticipating cool and mild conditions for most of these towns. Holiday resort towns, perfect weather for outdoor conditions, but again, I think what is important is not to expose yourselves from direct sunlight in the morning. It should be cool in some places like Great Zimbabwe, Nyanga, Matopos, but otherwise the other cities are expected to be mild in the morning. By the afternoon, hot conditions are expected in most of these towns, with the highest being Kariba with 36 degrees Celsius, 34 in Victoria Falls, and Chimanimani, Nyanga should be in the upper 20s, and it should be generally warm in this part of the country. Looking further into the outlook period, that is on Saturday, we're anticipating plenty of sunshine right across the country. Should start off with cool conditions in the morning, but by the afternoon, hot conditions are highly likely. This time of the year, when it's dry and windy, the spread of runaway fires is very high, and hence we encourage everybody not to start uncontrolled fires. That's all we have from the weather desk. Do have a good night and a pleasant viewing.
Thank you so much to the Met Department for the weather report and forecast. That brings us to the end of tonight's bulletin.
Good night.